This week on Lazyboys Night, let me take you back to last year when Dude claimed 1984 was the greatest year in cinematic history.
Hell yeah!
And while I agreed it was a fantastic year, don't get
awesome
me wrong,
year,
I loved
1984.
it. I said I think it might be 1985.
You did say that.
And tonight is my chance to make my case for 1985, the greatest cinematic year in movie history. Right after this.
Two guys talking, saying anything, nothing new to say, talking anyway. Stop yammering, can't hear a thing, nothing I can do. So let's have one more brew. One more brew. Let's have one more brew. One more brew. Stop talking, try listening, try anything, try whistling. There you go again, saying anything, nothing I can do. So let's have one more brew. One more brew. Let's have one more brew. One more brew.
That's Dude, and welcome to
Lazyboys Night.
Oh,
yeah.
What color is this?
It's got a reddish tint to
Oh,
it.
it's cherry cola, baby.
It is. This is the Autopop Cherry Cola Sour Ale by Wood Brothers.
Oh, sour? Oh.
Blood Brothers. Wood Brothers. It's, the font is weird.
Yeah,
Blood Brothers. We had Blood Brothers not too long ago, and
it's
it was
very
really
good,
good. So I'm hoping. I'll
Autopop.
smell that.
That's super sour.
That's
man.
super
I don't know if I'm gonna be able
cherry
to drink
cola
this.
sour. This is going to be a little strange here.
Oh,
But
wow.
Blood Brothers were very impressive last time. So here's to cherry
Cheers.
cola, dude.
Okay, let's find out.
It's weird because as you're drinking, I can smell the cherry cola, but it just tastes the sour. It doesn't taste like it smells.
That's weird, because that's right.
Sniff it. It's.
It
I feel like I'm smelling Dr. Pepper.
It doesn't taste what it smells like. That's weird. That rarely happens.
Well, it's kind of like blue cheese, right? It's stinky, but it tastes good.
That's very sour, though.
It's very sour. It's interesting. I don't know that I have more than one. It's. I will say kudos to you for coming up with something original.
I can guarantee you, people that love sours are going to adore this.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's got appeal.
The things that I have issues with when I'm drinking sours is
sour.
It's exactly. Shut up, man! Why do you gotta be like that? But yeah, no, the sour part that I don't enjoy, that's exactly what people that actually enjoy it. So I could see how somebody else would actually enjoy it.
I'm salivating now.
The back of my tongue right now is like freaking
all back
out.
here, like
Wow.
All right.
So I'm not saying it's not good. What I'm telling you, it's not part of my wheelhouse.
Yeah,
or my preference.
It's not an experience.
But I definitely can taste what other people would be looking for in a sour.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
And the smell, actually, the smell is
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So, 1985.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm gonna have to do something that's gonna make me feel old.
Old.
I need my readers.
So old.
And like you had last year, I've got.
Oh, you need the list.
Cheat sheet.
Don't cut yourself.
No,
Don't cut
too many to
yourself.
remember. But before we get to
Dude,
the actual
get the
list,
first aid kit out.
I'm bleeding. Gotta cancel the show. Before we get to the actual list, you had done this last time, and I remember how much I enjoyed these little fun facts about 1985. Oh. So here's a few fun facts. I actually kind of went down the list you brought up, and so Reagan is still president. Brian Mulroney is still prime minister. In fact, Reagan starts his second term in 85.
Oh, wow.
You had mentioned in 84, Tetris was released. 85 saw the release of Super Mario Brothers. The original.
No way.
Dude, put up a picture. Show how pixelated it was back then.
Yeah. That's awesome.
All right. You also mentioned that crack cocaine had been introduced. This is not cocaine. It is Coke. New Coke.
Oh, New
Coca-Cola
Coke.
changes their formula to New
Why?
Coke. One of the biggest fiascos in marketing history ever.
I would love to be sitting around the board of directors, the ones that are talking about, okay, we need new ideas. Man, we had Coke. We've been around for 100 years. There must be other customers out there.
Let's change the recipe.
It's like, what?
Nobody bought it. Then they brought back Coca-Cola Classic, but they kept the new Coke. Nobody bought the new Coke. It just disappeared. And then Coca-Cola Classic just became Coca-Cola again.
I can guarantee you everybody back then was hoping a lot of people got fired over that.
Oh, yeah. Also, the first WrestleMania. WrestleMania 1.
Hell
yeah.
We had a wrestling episode, by the way, folks.
We did.
Go check that out. That was fun.
From a scientific perspective, 1985 is the year they finally found the wreck of the Titanic.
What?
Yeah. We knew kind of where it had sunk, but the wreck was not actually found until 1985.
But actually, yeah, so that's quite a while back. They've done a lot since then.
In the music scene, two big events happened in 85. The Live Aid concerts for famine relief in Ethiopia. So in case you're not familiar, Live Aid had simultaneous concerts in London and in Philadelphia. All the biggest bands in the world. If you've seen Bohemian Rhapsody, the biopic of Freddie Mercury and Queen, it ends with their performance at Live Aid in London. Now, this was also broadcast on TV. Back then, this is 85. The world population is only about half of what it is now. Yeah. But over 1.5 billion viewers saw that concert, broadcast in over 100 countries.
And everybody who had said, we're going to broadcast. So it doesn't matter where you would change channels.
That's all that was playing on TV.
All that was playing.
Also, again, to help the needy, the USA records "We Are the World," and
that
Canada
was the
records.
Same year?
Yeah, Canada records.
Oh my god, I should know this.
It was called "Tears Are Not Enough."
Tears Are Not Enough.
Which, to be honest, I thought was the superior song between the two.
Yes, it was awesome.
Albums. You talked about big hit albums in 84. Well, these are the big hit albums of 85. It's a short list. There are a lot of others, but these are probably the biggest names. Whitney Houston has her self-titled debut album.
Oh, that was a huge
Whitney
album.
Whitney Houston is like the original pop diva.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms.
Yes.
Money for Nothing.
Money for Nothing.
Huge. Phil Collins, No Jacket Required. Also huge album.
Jeez.
And then this one strikes personally for me because it was also the first concert I've ever seen live. Bryan Adams' Reckless.
Oh, wow.
Summer of '69 was like the big song for so long. Those were awesome
Those albums, man, that music was everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
The constant play that we got from that, and how you got to remember there was a time, folks, where we couldn't stream anything. It was radio, and if you didn't get it on the radio, you had to go buy it.
Yeah, and you had back then, 85, you had the LP, but those were fading.
And music videos were just starting. That's why Dire Straits.
Oh, yeah, Money for Nothing. Look at, dude, can you play a clip of the computer graphics? Yes. See, that was computer graphics in 1985.
People were losing it.
Oh, they were like, oh my god,
that
so
was
cool.
made by a computer.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this freaking
block things, yeah.
But now you have a movie, Minecraft.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like Minecraft. Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's what was going on in the world back in 85.
Man, we had a good. That was awesome albums.
And I've got this ginormous list. And this is not a complete list. This is just a list of the major players. There's a lot of other minor things. But one thing I'm doing that's a little different from what you did last year is I've broken down the list into a few subcategories, and there's a reason for it. First of all, 1985...
You're one-upping me.
I am. 1985 had a weird phenomenon that hadn't really been done before. You have to remember that in 85, people are starting to get VCRs, but not everybody has them yet. Yeah. In case you don't know what a VCR is, think of a DVD player with a big tape.
Well, you actually had to rent them.
Yeah.
At first?
Well, because they were so expensive. I remember the first VCR we got it in 83. It cost $800 in 83.
Yeah.
By today's money, that would be about $3,000.
Yep. My grandfather was the first one in the family, and we used to share like every weekend. Different members of the family, we could go over and pick up the. It was like, what did he buy it for the family? Because I don't think he watches it that often. But every time we go pick up that machine, man, and just go into the video store
yeah.
and there wasn't a lot of choices back then either.
No, it was limited
Holy
because things
freak,
were just starting to be
very
released on
limited.
tape. But the video stores would rent you the machine too if you didn't have one
Yeah.
yet.
So-
That kind of faded by the late '80s. That was gone. Everybody had a VCR.
But if you didn't have a VCR prior to that moment, if a movie was in theaters, that was literally your only chance to
So
ever
for that
see
reason,
it.
this leads to my first little subcategory.
Oh.
85 saw certain big blockbuster hits be re-released. Even though these are movies that came out in years past and not in little revival theaters. I'm talking mainstream, big theatrical release, nationwide, global-wide. So 85 saw the re-release of E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which is originally from 82.
Nice.
It also saw the re-release of Gremlins, which was actually from 84. It was such a big hit in 84, they brought it back for Christmas 85. In fact, I remember at home I had the poster, and the poster showed the original poster, but then there's a tear in it, and you had Stripe's hand, and it said, "We're back."
Yeah.
And finally, the other big re-release, Ghostbusters!
Hell yeah!
Also from 84, but it was so damn big, they said 85, we gotta bring it back.
How awesome is that? Think about it. If you had missed it, or even if you saw it, it was one of those rare moments back in the day to be able to go back in the theater to watch it again. Because I've gone to theaters now, they play old movies.
They do on occasion, yeah.
And I've done that. There's movies I had only seen either on TV, right, when I was younger, or physical media where I actually
where
had
you're
it.
still on your TV.
So I'm watching it on the TV. Yeah, regardless, it's on TV. But one is my copy without commercials, right? Because trust me, if you're watching Wizard of Oz or Star Wars on TV and there's commercials, it kind of breaks the mood. A bit like YouTube does now. By the way, folks, we're still commercial free, so enjoy it
while you
for
can.
now. So if you're watching this and there's actual commercials, it means we've made it.
All right. This other subcategory, just because there was a lot in 85, I'm going to talk about sequels. Movies that launched franchises. So you've got Missing in Action 2, The Beginning, which is the Chuck Norris thing.
Chuck Norris. Dude, I want to do a Chuck Norris episode.
Oh.
We're going to do a Chuck Norris rip. I'm saying it right now.
We're doing a Chuck Norris.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
Oh, I love those movies, actually.
Porky's Revenge, the sequel to Porky's, which, by the way, is the most successful R-rated comedy Canadian produced.
I was going to say, that's a Canadian show.
Yeah.
That's...
Police Academy 2, Their First Assignment.
That was still a good...
Police Academy was 84. It was that big that 85 they had to do the sequel
right away. And even that sequel, I enjoyed just as much. It was a good sequel. Until they got to Police Academy 72?
Oh, something like that, Jeez. This was one of the biggest sequels of the year, one of the biggest blockbusters. Rambo, First Blood Part 2.
Hell yeah.
Now, if you've seen the original First Blood, I love the original, but First Blood is like a survival thing, a small manhunt. Rambo, First Blood Part 2, blew up the character to this big machine gun toting, blow the bad guys. It set the bar.
Dude, I didn't even know that there was a First Blood. I wasn't even aware.
It's called First Blood Part 2, dude.
Yeah, but that's what blew my mind. It's like when I saw it, I'm like, I saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to see the first one. I'm like, what? So rented the movie and I went, what the hell? Doesn't even look the same.
No, well, because first one was actually a very gritty.
The first one is awesome.
It's awesome. But yeah,
I've seen it so many
big
times now.
Spectacle.
Yeah, no kidding. But I'm like, how did you go from that to that?
Money.
Holy frick, man. The difference.
Yeah,
so
one was a low budget and it was so big, they said, all right, let's throw the big budget, let's bring it over the top. Yeah.
But if you have a chance, saying that, if you have either physical media or you can stream it or whatever, watch First Blood and then First Blood Part 2. It's just the name. Just John Rambo is the only thing that's the same in there. Because Stallone, how he's just insanely ripped too. Like you weren't like that in the first one.
He was in his peak physical rip.
Hell yeah.
Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Oh, that's actually my favorite Mad Max.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine is still Road Warrior.
See, I enjoy Road Warrior, but Beyond the Thunderdome, I don't know why.
I found Thunderdome, they tamed it.
Oh, maybe that's why.
Maybe
it's because it's the first one I actually saw in theaters.
Because
a lot of the stuff is the first time I saw them in theaters.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Because let's face it, we weren't that old.
No.
We were like teens.
No, just once upon a time, folks.
National Lampoon's European Vacation. Now, if you've never seen the Griswolds in Vacation, European Vacation was a solid sequel, just as good as the original.
Yeah.
Death Wish 3 with Charles Bronson.
Oh, Charles Bronson. Holy freak, whoever missed that guy.
This is the old school action, guys, where it's not about muscle, it's just about attitude and big guns.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's in the same vein as the Dirty Harry movie.
Oh, yeah.
That kind
Clint
of
Eastwood, Dirty Harry, yeah.
It was like many men just being badasses.
Oh, yeah.
You know this guy would never cry, ever.
No, never. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge.
Nice.
And another big one, Stallone had a big year in 85. Rocky 4.
Holy freak.
Rocky
he
4.
had a Rambo and a Rocky in the same year?
Yeah, Rocky 4 came out in 85.
Wow.
That was the big one where Rocky defeats Ivan Drago, the big Russian powerhouse. And that was freaking huge.
I must break you.
Yeah. And the last, the last sequel is Jewel and which is the sequel to Romancing the Stone. Not as good as Romancing the Stone, but still it was.
So Romancing the Stone was
84.
Hey, how many movies the year in 84 was such a hit
that they said we got to capitalize on these things.
Think of the production turnaround time on that.
They're almost
like, holy freak, we got a hit. Let's go. Let's get these
we got everybody
back.
still
rolling.
Go, keep going. Yeah,
that's amazing. You'd never be able to pull that off today.
No, well, some films do, but some don't.
Like you said, like Romancing the Stone, I still enjoyed it because Danny DeVito in there and Catherine, who was the main actress? Oh, dude,
Jordan blank on her name.
Holy frick!
Anyways, now the last subcategory before I go to the mainstreams. This is something that you can't really do today anymore because it would be politically incorrect.
Oh,
but
I like it already.
The 80s saw a massive flux of low-budget sex comedies. Typically, the plot always revolved a bunch of frat boys during spring break.
A lot of boobs.
And just their goal is to get laid. A lot of boobs, a lot of stupid shenanigan pranks, and ultimately somebody loses a virginity, and that was basically it. I think the last series to really do this was American Pie.
Yeah.
And even then, now you look at it, and a lot of it has not aged well. But this was what it was back in the 80s. And in 85, it saw Mischief, it saw The Sure Thing, it saw Fraternity Vacation, and Private Resort. And the name's
Private Resort.
There. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so now let's head to the mainstream movies. Now, this list is not complete. I've seen most of these. There's a few I haven't because I was still young, and the Academy Award nominee ones, they're a little too serious for me. I didn't particularly care about that during the day, but some of these are here anyways because they were big.
So, what's important for everybody watching right now, and I'm sure some of you went through the same things as us, but I'm realizing as we're talking, last year we did 1984, we're doing 1985, and we're not even into the actual blockbusters yet.
Yeah.
Why we're freaking geeks, man.
Oh, yeah.
We were just inundated with so much entertainment, movie-wise. If you look at these epic movies, music-wise, even TV shows, everything else that was happening at that time, people are still trying to mimic or take those same intellectual properties and trying to rehash or redo.
It was so influential.
It's unreal. So it literally made who we are and why there's so many. If you're watching any YouTubers out there and you're going, oh my god, what are these geeks that, and they're at a certain age or whatever? Yes, because we were bombarded with this entertainment constantly. And one of the biggest things that I loved so much is back in those days, it was a regular thing to go to theaters. Because one, it was still very affordable.
Yes.
Like, I remember, at any given time, whatever job I had, I always had the money to go to the theaters.
It was cheap.
Always.
Yeah.
And it was made for that. It was just a perfect way to spend time with your friends or family or whatever, go to the movie theater, disconnect, right? and just enjoy that moment. Nobody was trying to preach anything to you. It was just entertainment. They did entertainment well. So I'm super psyched about that.
All right, well, let's
list.
talk about this list. So, again, in no particular order, these are just things that were drawn. The Breakfast Club. Classic John Hughes about teenage misfits in high school. In
Fun
detention.
fact,
Yeah.
still to this day in high schools, not all of them, a lot of them are actually using that movie to open discussions.
I did not know that.
Imagine that.
Very cool. Influential. Horror film, Ghoulies.
Oh,
You remember the one in the toilet bowl? That's pretty much all I remember about this. It was bad, but it was just one of those things.
it was a horrible movie that people just loved. It was almost like the
And you were
garbage
afraid to
kids.
sit in the toilet for a while after you saw that movie.
It was like, oh yeah, that was a horrible movie. That was a blockbuster.
It was
made
released
good
in
money.
85. It made good money.
Okay, so it made good money.
These
Sure.
aren't all blockbusters, but they're all films.
Yeah.
That,
Okay.
Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend. You remember about the little baby dinosaur that was found?
Oh,
With William Catt, who
yes.
played the greatest American hero.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fun. Desperately Seeking Susan, Madonna's first movie.
And horrible movie.
Horrible movie, but it's
Horrible.
noteworthy because it was Madonna's first acting foray.
Exactly. And it did very well when it first opened up, and then it went.
Yeah, all the Madonna fans saw it, and then everybody said, yeah.
Was that Rosanna Arquette that was in there with her?
I don't even remember. That's how bad it
Yeah.
was. Lady Hawk with
Wait,
Michelle.
was I right? I need to know. Well, they need to know. Okay, thank you.
Lady Hawk with Michelle
Yes.
Pfeiffer and Rutger Hauer. That was pretty cool. It's not a low budget sex comedy, but it's one of those teen trying to fit in movies. Just One of the Guys.
Dude.
We have a special moment with that movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you just saw you put up the poster, right?
Yeah,
for that?
yeah,
Okay,
always-
thank you.
yeah.
He always does. Oh, look at the confidence you got now. That's
Oh, no, because
awesome.
I'm making him work overtime.
So, so when you see, if you ever do get a chance to see that movie, I implore you to watch to the very end, and you will understand why we're smiling so much.
Yes. Now
That's
I
it.
will. Oh.
No, don't.
I won't.
Just let it go. They're
right.
gonna have to look it up themselves.
Code of Silence, another Chuck Norris movie.
yes.
Oh, Jim Kata. Martial arts movies were huge back then, and Jim
Yeah,
Kata was a
okay.
martial arts movie where a gymnast would kick butt doing gymnastics rather than martial arts. It was lame, but it caught on. Now we're getting into the big ones now.
Okay, good.
Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor.
I
And John
love
Candy.
that movie.
John Candy. I gotta say, by the way, John Candy had a very busy year. You'll see why.
Okay, so
Brewster's
wait.
Millions, John
We
Candy.
do this,
Oh,
but
yeah, John
even
Candy.
folks, last week, go check out our last episode.
And we talk about
John Candy
Yeah.
again. Love John Candy. Can't get enough of him.
A View to a Kill, the James Bond franchise with Roger Moore in this one,
And the intro song,
was Duran Duran.
yes, and it still plays on the radio.
Yeah,
If you're
it was-
listening to oldies,
It was a
they're always
huge hit.
playing.
Huge
Yes,
hit.
probably the biggest James Bond hit
Song, probably one of the biggest.
Yeah.
Definitely in the top three.
song wise. Oh yeah.
Fletch with Chevy Chase.
Oh, freak yeah.
That was
That I remember in theaters, and as soon as it was Chevy Chase, it would
funny.
be
It was
like I
just
said,
funny.
it would be Chevy Chase reading a phone book. Who cares? A phone book is what we used to look into to find phone numbers. By the way, so when I sat down and I saw all these different characters he was playing, and just the pacing of the
Oh, yeah,
movie, I'm like,
Hilarious.
this is 100% like whoever wrote that movie. And I know originally, I think it was a short story. Anyways, I'm trying to remember what it was, but the setup for it is like, if you watch it, you think it was literally written for him. The way
I think
he
it
plays
was.
I'm thinking.
I think it was.
I don't know.
Anyways, now
Do
this
some
next one.
research.
This next one was a huge. The Goonies.
Oh,
The Goonies. If you've
That-
never seen The Goonies, this is the ultimate kid adventure
Yeah.
movie, and even as a grown up, you watch
Yeah.
it now. It's enchanting.
yeah.
It's fun, and it stars a bunch of actors who became.
you guys!
It stars a bunch of different actors who became huge names. Sean Ashton was one of them. what's his name there?
He just won last year. He won an award.
Yeah, the little Asian.
We're horrible at this.
Kuhei Kwan or something like that. I forget his name.
Yeah.
And Thanos. What's his name? Josh Brolin. Anyway, him.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah. Along with others.
Along with others.
Now, if you were a little older, but
yes. Anyways, show the cast.
Yeah,
Don't recognize the cast. Thank you. There we go.
If you were into the older crowd film, Cocoon was actually quite big with Wilford Brimley and a bunch of other senior citizens.
I never thought. Yeah, and speaking of that same year, Steve Guttenberg had Police Academy.
Yeah.
And then he was the
oh,
star
that's right.
of
He was in. I forgot about that. I haven't seen Cocoon since '85.
In theaters.
Return to Oz, the long-awaited sequel to Wizard of Oz. It was still big. You may
was
not have liked it, but
it was huge. But they went in such a
visually, cinematically, it was very, very different.
Just completely freaking different. And the thing is, people don't realize how that sequel or prequel, actually, or whatever.
No, it's a sequel.
Was it an actual proper sequel? Yeah. How they tried to stay as faithful as possible to the actual books.
Yes, the look is much more faithful to the book, but it's not what we're used to seeing from the film.
And that's what
because the original movie
off.
Couldn't pull off the book look.
No, and even technology and everything for special effects or whatever.
Remember the wheelies?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Clint Eastwood, Pale Rider.
Oh, I love Pale Rider.
And then,
it's Clint Eastwood. Right away, he's got me.
St. Elmo's Fire.
Epic movie.
Epic Bratback movie.
Yeah. That started some stuff that started a whole chain of movies like that.
And this next one on the list is my favorite on the list for 1985, and it is the first of what I consider to be one of the greatest trilogies of all time. Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. The movie that made Michael J. Fox, the TV star, into Michael J. Fox, the movie star.
Hell yeah. So back to the... Again, that's one of those movies because when we were watching, it's like, what was it called? Family Ties.
Yeah.
Right? He was in Family Ties.
He was filmed that while he was filming Family Ties.
So you finished filming the TV show, take off, go to the set, and do this. And that's why a lot of the first scenes are at night.
Yeah.
Because he was... For real,
he worked at one point. He'd have like maybe 2 hours of sleep a night, working 2 hectic schedule, and learn the lines, learn the
And he wasn't the actual original actor as
No,
well.
Eric Stoltz was the original actor. They filmed for like 2 weeks.
They filmed
and it just didn't work. And then Michael J. Fox was free again. They fired Eric Stoltz, and they reshot everything.
Every one of those scenes,
Yeah, crazy. A little more downplay, but still was a hit. The Emerald Forest. I don't know if you recall that about the guy lost in the Amazon jungle there.
I really don't remember that one. Wow, the entire list right now?
Yeah.
It is the only one I don't remember.
Red Sonja.
Oh.
Kind of like, it's not really Conan the Barbarian, because Arnold is in there, but he's not Conan in there. He's some other guy. Yeah. But it's the same genre.
It was supposed to be a spin-off, but that was really weird, the fact that
I think it was a licensing thing, so they changed the character's name. It must have been,
because in the comic books, she's actually in the she started off and then she had her own run.
Yeah. So I think it was a licensing with the name Conan, so they just changed the character's name.
Is he actually ever named in that?
He is. He's got a different name. Dude, put it up. Silverado.
Love Silverado.
Yeah. Oh,
and Silverado, I'm a huge Western fan. Those of you who've been watching the show for a while, you know, Westerns to me is my favorite type of movie. And the fact that it came, like, they actually made a movie in those, like, in 1985, they brought back the Western.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hallelujah, I love this, man. Because I've seen every Clint Eastwood movie, I've seen every, like...
Really? Even The Bridges of Madison County?
Nope. Except not even Pink Cadillac either, I haven't seen that. I'm talking about Westerns.
I know. Another fun kid adventure movie, Goonies. Explorers.
Oh, Explorers
was awesome. These kids who find this old tilt-the-world ride thing, and with just a little Commodore 64 computer, managed to do this thing with the bubble. It was so cool.
Explorers, man. When I saw that, to me, it was like taking Star Wars and making it real.
Yeah, and
it was like,
for
what?
kids.
That's
like,
awesome.
Kids can have
and
these
even
adventures.
when you meet the aliens, it's like a brother and a sister.
I know.
It's just that whole thing on a spaceship. Oh man, that's awesome.
One of the early Tom Hanks vehicle, The Man with One Red Shoe.
I remember that.
That was
I was not a fan because it was not really gauged towards our
No,
age,
it's still
but it was still
another hit.
You're writing. You're going through these too fast, man.
sorry,
I'm just
dude.
not trying to absorb. Holy Jesus!
Well,
so
there's
much.
a lot. There's a lot.
Is
Fright
that
Night.
why?
Yeah.
Oh, Fright Night.
You remember Fright Night?
Yeah.
That was. I gotta say, at that age, that movie scared the crap out of me. That was frightful.
Yeah.
Now these next two, it was. You know how sometimes movies come out same style, different production companies.
It's been happening since the beginning of movies.
So on one side you had Weird Science with the dude from Breakfast Club there. What's his name?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, dude, I can't remember. Put his picture up there.
It's been too long, folks.
And on the flip side, you had Real Genius with the late Val Kilmer. By the way, Val.
Yeah, that's
We're sorry
true.
we lost you.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance, Val Kilmer actually put out, I guess it's a documentary of all the footage that he took with his camcorder when he was on set for all these different movies.
Oh, really? I gotta
And he
check that
talks
out.
about
Where can you
that.
see that?
Dude, put up where we can actually find that. If I want to say it's either Netflix or Prime. I can't remember which. Anyways, you know before we do, but yeah, look it up.
I want to see
It's
that.
freaking amazing.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
if you think of the epic movies this guy has been in,
Top Gun.
he would bring a
Oh.
camcorder on set and film between takes and stuff like that. It's
I did not know
phenomenal.
that. Cool.
It's great.
Anyways, those two movies made being a geek, a nerd, a brainiac cool.
That's where it started.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh!
We had a whole discussion about Paul Rubens
Yeah,
when he passed.
away. So.
Check out this episode, but yeah. Another John Candy, Summer Rental. It was a so-so comedy,
It
but
was, and
nonetheless.
then that also had who else? Who was his co-star in that?
Summer Rental? I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen that movie since the 80s.
Dan Aykroyd.
Was it Dan Aykroyd in that one? There you go. Another great Canadian.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, I was disappointed with that movie actually because I was expecting. I mean, John Candy is still awesome. Dan Aykroyd is still awesome.
sometimes you work with the script you're given, right?
Exactly, and it's one of those things where it's very reminiscent of Vacation, like Christmas Vacation, how the in-laws show up.
Yes.
Well, this is they're renting a cottage, and then the in-laws show up, and then they try to get together. But it's one of those movies where
Family dynamics kind of fall short
I
of them
don't like
sometimes.
movies where somebody lets themselves be taken advantage of or get frustrated. Until there's that pushback, and I'm like, oh man, don't. And if you're looking at Dan Aykroyd's character in there, it's like you're too much. I know in Christmas Vacation it's too much, but it's still funny.
Yes.
Right? He's not being a jerk. He's just an idiot. There's a difference between
Yeah,
being a
Cousin
jerk.
Eddie's just an idiot. Yeah.
Cousin Eddie's an idiot. Dan Aykroyd's character, not an idiot, just a jerk, and I don't like jerks in movies.
The last of the John Candy's also stars Tom Hanks at Volunteers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that movie. I was pleasantly surprised.
It was a fun little movie.
It was a fun movie, and just the whole concept of it. And if you're looking at it, both actors were playing the best version of themselves in those movies. Like John Candy, when he's funny and he's vulnerable,
Yes.
and he's that almost like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes,
that
yes,
type
yes.
of character. Well, that's what he plays in there as well.
Oh, he was
Fantastic.
brilliant
It's
for
like
that.
John Candy being John Candy. Love him, love him. I will never be able to say it enough how much I love that man. And Tom Hanks in there played a good, proper Tom Hanks character back in the day before I disliked him so much.
The other Michael J. Fox vehicle for 85.
Was it Teen Wolf?
Teen Wolf.
No way. Teen Wolf was the same year.
Teen Wolf was actually shot before Back
Yeah,
to the
I know
Future.
that.
But
I
they were
didn't realize
they were
they-
both released during the same
Ah.
summer. Yeah, Teen Wolf.
So, fun fact about Teen Wolf.
Zipper guy.
No.
I'll tell you about it after.
So, you tell me that, I'll tell this story. Once upon a time, up here in the Great White North, we had a TV personality that had a TV show during the day that was interviews with stars and different things like that. somebody you might know, Alan Thicke.
Oh, yeah.
Canadian man, right? He had his own The Alan Thicke Show. On his show, he had Michael J. Fox as a guest because of family ties.
Yeah.
And Michael J. Fox being Canadian as well.
Yeah, did Alan Thicke have Growing Pains at the time, or did that
No,
come
that
later?
was before.
Okay, so this before Growing Pains.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was probably
He was close to the air because both shows kind of overlapped.
Yeah, so it was very, very close, but it was just before he left for the States.
Okay.
Right? I'm not talking about Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox was still living in Canada and doing both, right? But anyways, you think that he'd be talking about Back to the Future, but this was recorded right when they were filming
Teen Wolf.
So everybody, Michael J. Fox is talking about Teen Wolf, and then what do you know? Next movie that comes out is Back to the Future. You're going, what? What happened to that Teen Wolf movie he was talking about?
Came out a few weeks later. There you go. Yeah, that's funny. My fun fact: if you watch Teen Wolf at the end when the winning basket is shot and the crowd goes wild, if you look at the screen in the upper left corner, because everybody stands up, there's one of the extras who stands up, but you can clearly see his zipper is down and there's something hanging out. I don't think it's his actual junk. I think it was just like a shirt or something. But basically, it's like there's this whole, and it's this big thing, and you can totally see this guy's zippers wide open and something's hanging out there. It's kind of funny.
That's something I would.
You're like, why are you like this?
I totally would have done something like that.
All right, now let's go to a few action movies. American Ninja, the first one with Michael Dudikoff.
Ninja movies.
Oh yeah, ninja movies.
Ninja movies in the 80s was
huge,
crazy. There was so much ninja stuff. I started buying ninja magazines.
Oh yeah,
and
I remember those. And you want to buy all the stuff they sold at the end. The shoes with the split in the toe and the shurikens and the.
I think that's why when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out, why people went nuts over it.
Oh yeah,
because it was part of that generation.
Yeah. Invasion USA, another big action one. Yeah. Oh, the biggest of the action ones for this year, Schwarzenegger Commando.
Oh,
yeah. Well, actually, the biggest was Rambo, but this is also Commando was huge.
So you think about it, and that's part of what you're talking about. The movies always in competition.
Oh yeah,
that was the Sylvester Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
Well, they had a huge rivalry back in the 80s.
Rivalry was like who was
huge. This next one, one of the early Jim Carrey movies, Once Bitten.
Oh,
it's a vampire comedy, and
it's horrible.
It's horrible, but at the same time, you can see the origins of Carrey letting his zaniness out, because before that, he was on a TV show called The Duck Factory, where he couldn't really do his thing. Once Bitten allowed him to do a little more. It wasn't really till Ace Ventura that Jim Carrey did Jim Carrey.
Just let himself go.
But this was one of his early things. Another action flick, King Solomon's Mines.
Yes, I remember that too.
Yeah, that was
supposed to be like an Indiana Jonesy kind of thing.
It was their answer to Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And there were supposed to be like several films after that, but it didn't do as well as they were hoping, so it just ended up being a one of. Santa
Claus the movie.
Oh,
that was big. Before the Tim Allen Santa Claus movies from the 90s, there was Santa Claus the movie, which was a big hit.
Wow.
Young Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
that was a fun one. Oh, this next one, another Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd.
Spies Like Us.
Spies Like Us. That was a fun, typical comedy of the '80s with the Cold War at its height, and that was
Paul
a big
McCartney
one.
Actually did the soundtrack, the song for the movie.
Now,
Spies Like Us.
These next two both star Tim Curry.
Back to back.
Yeah, these next two films both star Tim Curry. The first one, Clue. Clue, the movie based on the Clue board game.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing about Clue is they shot 3 different endings. And depending on which theater you were in, the movie didn't end the same way. The whodunit, there were 3 different solutions.
I didn't even know about that.
They were trying to get people to go and see.
Was it Professor Plum, Mrs. White, Mr. Green, Mrs. Peacock, Miss Scarlet, or Colonel Mustard?
I'm only a dinner guest.
With a knife, a gun, a pipe, a candlestick, or a rope.
Please!
In the hall, lounge, dining room, kitchen, library, study.
And to make a long story short, too late.
Or did the butler do it?
We've got to find out.
Clue. It's a comedy with 3 different endings. Who done it? Depends on where you see it. Rated PG. Starts Friday, December 13th at a theater near you.
Isn't that weird? So, depending on where you went, somebody else did it.
But did that actually work?
Not as well as they wanted to, because
They were trying to cash in.
They're trying to cash in, but the people got upset because, well, who really did it?
Well, yeah, because you're not satisfied. There's no actual ending to it.
So I have the DVD, the physical media, and it ends one way, and then you can go in the bonus features and watch the other 2 endings. And what sucks is because all 3 endings work, so none of the clues leading up in the film actually mean.
Well, that's
anything.
what I mean. It's
exactly.
like the whole thing, the whole movie.
So I think it backfired on them a little bit because of that. But
it's a fun premise, but when you're actually rolling.
But the performances are great. Tim Curry is brilliant in there. The other Tim Curry thing, although most people didn't know it was him. Remember Legend?
Yes.
With Tom Cruise?
Yes.
The big red demon thing?
Yes,
that's
him?
Tim Curry.
I didn't even know that.
He actually got neck damage, permanent neck damage.
Because of the size of the horns?
It was so heavy. Unlike today where it's like a very soft foam latex, it wasn't like that back then. And the headgear weighed, I don't know how many pounds, dude. Can you?
Yeah.
He had to wear that all the time in the makeup chair and then afterwards. And it gave him neck damage.
So pop up the cover again, the poster or the cover of the DVD or whatever. Show that a little bit longer so people can actually see, or just the image, so you can actually see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I remember the fact that it's not very often that movie posters will pull me into a movie. Usually for me it's the trailer, right? Because we've gone over this. I love trailers, always have. But sometimes you get that movie poster that is just enough.
Oh yeah.
And that movie Legend was enough to pull me into that.
Yeah, it was captivating. It was sure.
Really, because back then there's a lot of movie posters that were very bland, and it was just showing the 2 main actors, and there wasn't very much going on in the background. But it was almost fantasy at its best. It almost looks like a book cover.
Yeah, it's captivating. A couple of the Academy Award winner ones or nominees: The Color Purple. Didn't actually see it. Out of Africa. Yeah. Same thing. Heavy stories, but these were a lot of people went to see them, win the awards.
But again, that was out of our
out
of our wheelhouse of we pretty much watched anything except for really deep, meaningful movies. We went for action comedy.
Yeah, and the last one on my list, because it came out late in the year. It was a sci-fi movie, Enemy Mine, with Dennis Quaid.
Oh, yeah.
I'd read the book before I saw the movie. Because in school at that point, we were assigned to read a science fiction novel, our choice. So I picked Enemy Mine and then saw the movie, and it was like, wow. And so it was just a fun little romp for me. Although that's when I first realized, oh my God, books and movies are so different.
Oh, no,
because a lot of the stuff is like, that didn't happen. This isn't this way.
Yeah.
Boom. But and there's still so many more movies. I just didn't have enough room.
Big
on
year
my
for real.
Yeah, my list is just full here. So
that was a huge year.
So 84 or 85?
I'm still 84, baby.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
84.
I'm gonna say the era.
Okay.
Is the king.
Yeah.
Because 84 had so many brilliant films.
Next
85,
year we could do 1996.
Well, maybe we will.
Yeah.
Maybe
we'll see how you feel about this episode. Right. See if it's worth following up.
Anyways,
that's a lot of research, right?
It is a lot of research, and dude's gonna have to put up so many movie posters. Anyways,
that was awesome. That was a lot of fun.
And let us know what your favorite film of 85 was.
Any fun memories? And even if you weren't around back in the day, films and music from that 85. Era, from that specific year as well, share. I mean, a lot of you is like through your parents or just discovering like that. And a lot of the franchises, like I said, that exist today is because of those years. So if there's anything that you discovered today and decide to go back to see what it originally looked like, let us know about that too.
Go back to the future?
Oh, we're going back to the future.
Anyways, we'll see you next Thursday.
We'll see you next time. Cheers.